Hello, everybody. Wednesday, 16th of March 2022. 9 o'clock here in Ireland, in UK, 10 o'clock in France, 11 o'clock in Lithuania. It's time to spiritual light. So thank you for joining us, for having us. And today we're going to talk about faith and hope. We need it, and let's see the trick things behind it. And I want to say, Fayute, my Irish friends, happy to have you all here with me and among my friends here. So let's start with the introduction here. Elsa, would you mind to say hello?
It's a pleasure, always, because the topic today, I was thinking about this topic. So I would like to everyone that is listening us now or later, the one that knows our heart, the commitment that we have to be here with you all, to prepare in advance, to talk and think. The best moment in our life is now. It's really now. So I embrace all of you, feel my hug, and blessings from God for each one of us. And together we are more. Thank you.
Good. Miss Gibbons.
Oh, hello, good evening, everyone. The words of that Elsa said, that they are very true, and it's always a privilege to share these moments with you. And we ask God and the spiritual benefactors that are with us to support us and to give us this moment that we can all learn something together, and ask God's blessings to each and every one of us. Thank you.
Good. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir Stevan, bonsoir Elsa, bonsoir Silvia, bonsoir, bonjour à tous. Très heureux d'être parmi vous de nouveau ce soir pour parler de la foi et de l'espérance dont on a vraiment besoin, surtout en ce moment. Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Very happy to be here again with you to talk today about faith, faith and hope that we really need, particularly nowadays.
Yeah, faith and hope. That's all what we need. And as usual, let's see our video today.
By having something we believe in, by creating for ourselves a construct, psychological construct of something that is grander than all of us. And then there's no right or wrong in this case. That is what we believe in. It's a very personal experience. But by having this, by creating this construct with something that is much larger than what we are, we can then project a future for ourselves, a situation of improvement, even if it's not something that can be carried out at that very moment. There is a faith that we think of religious faith, and in that sense, it gives us a strength that is not based on technology, for instance. But there is also that faith in humanity, the faith in the professionals of the health area that are going to assist us in that moment of need, in that moment of difficulty. There is also faith in humanity in the sense of the technological advancements that we have at our disposal today to tackle that difficult situation. And I think in that sense, the faith of something that is grander, that is larger than what we are, it can assist us because we can experience, or at least we can project a purpose that perhaps the objectivity of the immediatism cannot give to us. The immediatism would be the cure. That would be what anyone who is in a going through a difficult infirmity would want, would desire. But then you also have the situations where we know it can be a battle that for the moment we don't have a cure for, or that we don't have the necessary tools, medical tools, nursing tools to address it. So the faith would allow us to have resignation, will allow us to get a better understanding of and cope better with that situation. Even though we cannot see in the near future a cure for it, we will live better through that experience. We will not be as miserable, I would put it this way. And I think it has major psychological impacts. And faith here is in the most generic sense of the word possible. It doesn't have to be the religious faith that we would say ritualistic faith, but that feeling, that internal feeling that allow us to devise a better purpose for ourselves.
Okay, so wonderful video produced by our friends from Spiritism Academy. I want to say good evening, Nancy. Good to have you here, my dear. Erica as well, good evening. So thank you for joining us. Ruben, hope everything's okay in Paraguay, in Uruguay, my friend. Yeah, I hope everything is okay in Paraguay as well, but perhaps we have someone listening us in Paraguay right now. So let me give my introduction here today, and I'd like to start with the book called Vineyard of Light. It's on chapter 40, 40, and says, faith is a developing process, a constant working in progress that we need to work in ourselves every day. We cannot transmit it. It is achievement that we need to acquire. The tree of living faith does not grow in the heart miraculously. Acquiring an edifying belief is not a service of less effort. The sublime virtue is the construction of the inner world, in the unfolding of which each apprentice functions as a deviser, engineer, and worker of himself. No one can, therefore, in his right conscience, fully transfer the vibration of faith to the spirit of others, because indeed this is a task that belongs to each one. And it is interesting to, I will read it to you, a message, what Immanuel Kant, in his book Religion with the Limits of Reason, published in 1793, what he says about faith. There will be the superstition where faith is not rational, even if a historical nature. It must be rational because the true touchstone of truth is always reason. So, in these two messages we saw today, Immanuel Kant invites us to always have the rational faith. And rational faith brings us to Kardec. And Emmanuel, in this message from Vineyard of Light, said, this is a path everyone must do by himself. It's alone. We cannot borrow our faith. We cannot buy our faith. We cannot transmit our faith. We just can help people find their own faith. And based on this, I'd like to start with Charles and asking him two simple questions. Since we needed to have a rational faith, and I have to find my own faith. Can I measure it? Does it have a size?
Oh, that's a good question. So I try to measure it, huh? But it's not so easy. Huh?
Yeah.
We cannot measure it through conventional means, I would say. And for this, of course, we can refer to Allan Kardec. It's mostly the section 19 of the Gospel according to Spiritism, which is talking about faith. Yeah? And the first story which is told there is the one when a man came to Jesus, and his son was having an illness, and he brought it to the disciples of Jesus, but they could not cure him. And the reaction of Jesus was to say, "Oh, faithless and perverse generation." Huh? And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour. So the disciples could not do it, but Jesus could do it. And then came the disciples to Jesus in private and said, "Why couldn't we not cast him out?" And Jesus said to them, "Because of your unbelief. For verily I say to you, if you have faith of the size of a mustard seed," I know, so 2 millimeters, this we can measure a mustard seed, "you shall say to this mountain, remove from here to there, and it will remove, and nothing shall be impossible for you." So if we follow this part of the gospel, when you have a faith that you can measure of 1.5 millimeter of the seed of mustard, this size of faith would be enough to remove a mountain. Of course, we always have to take Jesus' words in their sense of image that he used to be understood by the people. Huh? And if it is, of course, sure that if we are not confident in what we are doing, we generally don't succeed. Okay? If we want to succeed in something, we need to have faith in what we are doing. We need to be confident in ourselves to be capable to do it. Otherwise, we divide by a lot the chances of success. Now, what are these mountains that Jesus is talking about? These mountains are difficulties, resistance, the change resistance. It is the ill will, bad will of some people. In fact, those things that humans have to face, even when we refer to the best things, the prejudices, routine, material interest, selfishness, blindness of fanaticism, and prideful passions are a few of these famous mountains that Jesus was talking about, and that block the way of those who work for the progress of humanity. So if we really want to work for the progress of humanity, we have to overcome all these difficulties, all these mountains that have been quoted, listed here, amongst others, of course. Because on another thing, robust faith gives perseverance, energy, and resources that will allow us to overcome these obstacles, be they large or small. But without faith, no change or very little change. Now there is another. Let's I think rather than measuring the faith, we can maybe evaluate what is the power of the faith that we have. What is the power of our faith? And there is quite some tests right now, very interesting tests. And one of the tests is calmness during the struggle. And this is always a sign of strength and confidence, whereas on the contrary, violence denotes weakness and self-doubt. Okay, so for instance, there was this pandemic. Were we afraid of dying? How can a spiritist be afraid of dying? He knows that he has a spirit. He knows that his spirit, his soul, is surviving after what we call the death. He knows that this is just a change of dimension where the soul is freed from his body, physical body, which sometimes is evoked like a prison. So why should we be afraid about this because of the pandemic? Now we have a second trial, which is this war which appeared here at a couple of thousand kilometers from here. Are we really also concerned, and do we panic because of it? That's also not a good reaction. We should stay calm, have faith in the future of the seed of mustard, that sooner or later it will stop, this war, hopefully sooner than later, and everything will come back, and hopefully a lot of people will have learned from this episode and taking the necessary measures that it never ever happens again. These institutions that we have today are from the 20th century. Now we are in the 21st century. And this institution like NATO or whatever, it doesn't work. UN, what is UN doing to stop the war? Cannot. It's also not working. So we have to think to something new out of the box to solve all these problems. So if we are with fear, if we don't have the faith for this betterment of the world, we lose our means, we lose our power. If you have fear, you can be manipulated by the people who are inducing this fear to you in order to force you, manipulate you to do something that you don't want to do. No, let's be confident. Let's have this faith, not to panic in such situation. Okay. And then another dimension that you very well mentioned by the quote of Immanuel Kant, Stevan, is that the faith, there are two types of faith. It's either blind faith or rationalized faith. Okay. So the blind faith does not examine and accepts without verification what is told or taught or said to them, both if these things are true or false. Okay, they don't rationalize. It's a blind faith. They can have faith in something which is true. In this case, it's good, but they can also have faith in something which is false. And in this case, it's not so good. Okay. And when we take this to the extreme, the blind faith is producing what we call fanaticism. Okay. And there you can measure the size of the faith by measuring the intensity of the fanaticism. You have a lot of people, they go kill, they ask them, just go and kill the one which should not think like you, and they go and kill the people. Don't reflect, with integrism, and a lot of this type of movement is exactly what is meant here by fanaticism. And Kardec is then telling that the only faith that is based on truth is guaranteeing the future, because it has nothing to fear from the progress of enlightenment, seeing that what is true in obscurity is also true in sunlight, in daylight. Each religion generally claims to have possession of the exclusive faith. Out of Catholicism, out of Vatican, there is no salvation. Out of this Islam or Muhammad or whoever, there is no salvation. Spiritism is not like this. It's out of charity, there is no salvation. The belief is not the essential one. What is essential is what we do with this belief, as we told it already here. And when you see that a religion is telling this is a dogma, you have to believe in it, even if when you don't understand it, proclaim a faith, a blind faith on a point of belief, is somehow to confess that this religion is not capable, is impotent to demonstrate that they are right. And this is absolutely the opposite of the rationalized phase, which is taught by the Spiritism. Faith cannot be prescribed. It can also not be imposed. This is a free will that we have. Everyone is free to believe what he wants. But the rationalized phase, which is characteristic of Spiritism, when based on facts and logic, leaves no doubt. You believe or you have faith in something because you understood it. So it's not more a belief, it's we are certain of it. Are we certain that we have a soul? Yes, we are. Are we certain that we reincarnate, that the soul reincarnates? Yes, I'm so certain that the soul reincarnates as I'm certain that the earth and the moon are attracting themselves by the law of gravity because we understand it. And this is why Kardec wrote at the front page of the Gospel according to Spiritism that unshakable faith is that only that which can stand face to face with reason in all epochs of humanity. So it's a kind of development of this statement that was already made by Immanuel Kant. And to finalize, I would just like to add that it is good to have faith. I admire the people who have a faith in something that don't need to understand. I'm not capable of that. I'm not evaluated to have this type of faith. I can only have faith in what I understand. So I need to have the reason giving light to the faith. And once this reason is giving confirmation of the faith, then it gives also more strength to make this faith profitable. And the only profitable faith is an active faith. It's not a faith which is stand still, not doing anything, or just theory. It needs to turn out into practice. And the biggest of them is the charity, to love God above all and to love our neighbor as ourselves. To love God above all, this is the faith of a creator, of this divine creator of the universe. And to love our neighbor as ourselves is to put it in practice concretely with the people who are around us, whether it's a family, whether it's Ukrainian or Russian or whoever. We need really to put it in practice, otherwise it's just theory. So these are several hints enabling to measure the faith. Thank you for your patience.
Wow, it's a lesson. It's not a comment. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, we need to learn how to distinguish this reason of faith from the blind faith. The same thing like when we enter in a plane and we have faith in the pilot. He will take us from point A to point B. We have to have our faith in ourselves. So, Ms. Gibbons.
Tell me. Ask me.
Tell me no. You're going to tell me.
No, I said ask me. Ask me.
Yeah.
Oh, you can tell me as well. I don't mind.
Today's topic is faith and hope. And I think and I it's easy to make a mistake and think like faith and hope are the same thing. Even though they are different, what's the relationship between them?
Okay. I was just thinking about some of the words that Charles said today. I think when you have faith, it's almost a hope is part of it, isn't it? Because if you really truly have a faith in something, you don't hope because you have the certainty. I think Charles mentioned something when you believe, you are sure of it. And just thinking about, someone once asked Jung, do you believe in God? And he said, no, I am certain that God exists. And I think that's exactly it. When you have faith, you don't hope because there is assurance to this. It seems a bit contradictory because I think when you doubt, you have hope that something, but it might not happen. And when you actually have faith that it will happen, it will happen. And I think that that's the difference on faith and hope, although they seem to be together in a certain way. And you know, I think a lot of what Charles said, which I had sort of agreed as well. When we have faith, it's very there are two types of faith. There are the divine faith, you know, that we believe in God, we believe in something. And also there's the faith that we have in ourselves, a confidence in ourselves that we are able to do what we have to do, that we are strong enough to go through certain situations. You know, like he said about the mountains. And in the gospel, the spirits explain that the difficulty, the mountains that Jesus was talking about is the difficulty, you know, the problems, the poverty, the loss of loved ones, everything that in our lives that makes us human, that we have to face problems, you know, difficulties we have with certain people. They don't seem to get on with us, or they don't like us, no matter how well we treat them. There's something they're not quite happy with us. Or this is a bit of a difficulty as well, or unkindness, or difficulties at work, difficulties to learn something, to achieve something that we have. So these are the mountains, I think, that you know, like in the gospel, the spirits teach us, because those sometimes can be high mountains, especially when you're going through a very difficult point in our lives, when we are challenged in what we believe that our life is, and you know, like the situation that is going on at the moment. There is a lot of fear because there is a lack of faith in God's justice, in what can be done. So we fear, and that weakness, yeah, like Charles said, can be controlled, can be manipulated. And we see this, you know, about this war. There are so many people very, very scared, very afraid, because they don't have faith in God and they don't have faith in themselves. And because of this weakness, they can be manipulated by the press. They listen something in the news, they watch this, they go into these crazy sites in the YouTube or whatever it is. So I think we need to come back to ourselves and trust that we're going to achieve something. And when we put our minds to it, we put all our energy to it. I think, you know, like in the parable that Jesus said, you go, you remove the mountains, and you can, because it is something that you can achieve, and you know that. And we have faith in ourselves, we have faith in others. I mean, you, Stevan, you said, you know, when you go into the plane, you don't think about it, do you? I mean, you have a complete trust that it will be okay, you know, everything, the people who are there, they know what they're doing, and you're going to have a safe journey. And we always trust this. Is when we take the tube or when you go somewhere. So there is always, we almost don't think about it. It's almost automatic, this kind of belief that something is going to be okay. And it's just without. And I think in the parable that Jesus said, about the fig tree as well. That is also one of the parables of Jesus about faith, that he said, you know, he goes and there is no figs, and he destroys you know, no one will ever eat something from you. And of course, you know, seems so strange that Jesus would dry a fig tree when he could actually just pluck anything from it. But it was a lesson that he wanted to teach. And then you know, the apostles, when they came back again, they said, well, you know, see the tree you cursed, it's and he says, well, you know, you if you say to the tree, it will dry, it will dry. If you have faith that is going to happen, it will happen. And I think we sometimes we don't quite believe in ourselves. And I think that's what Jesus was trying to tell us. You have to believe in yourselves, in doing something that you can achieve, that you can feel that you are able to. And I think sometimes we don't. There is always something in the back of our mind that says, maybe you won't be able to, you know. And yet, when we go to certain situations in life, and they are very difficult, you have a lot of pain, whatever it is that you go through, and then somehow you have this inner strength, this faith that you'll be able to overcome this, and you do. And later on, when you look back in certain situations in your life, you say, oh my God, how did I ever manage that? Because you had faith. And I think when we have faith, we have calm, we have tranquility, we can sit down in calm and see what is right, which path can we take, what are the best decisions for us to take. And I think that that's true faith is that really will give us that certainty that we are able to overcome. And we look back in our lives and say, oh my God, I overcame that. How did I ever do that? Where did I have the strength and the courage? Because at the time, we ask for help as well. And I think also asking God's help. And I also feel that I think Charles mentioned it as well, that faith is not transferable. And it's not. When you have faith, you cannot make another person feel the same way. But I think faith can be contagious. When someone really trusts, no, we're going to do that. That certainty, that kind of strength that faith gives you, it's almost can be, other people can be touched by it, you can lift them as well, almost to the point that they can trust, and you can do that. Actually, Halil Gibran had this quote saying, doubt, when we doubt, when we are weak, we doubt. And he says, doubt is a pain too strong to know that faith is his twin brother. And I love this quote, because sometimes, we doubt so much of what we can do, what we can achieve, how is it going to happen? And yet he says faith goes together. Just look at the other side, the twin brother, they one and the same almost. Look into something that within yourself you have. And I think also is confidence, that God is there, that is giving us the strength. And I think also, one of the things that the gospel says, that some people have faith that's inborn faith. They already born with it. And I know people like that. My mom was a kind of person like that. She had faith. And it was, when she was to say things, I said, maybe. And then, the way she said it, said, no, yeah, it's going to happen. And it's really interesting, you have this faith, that you can do it. And I think that's what we need to do. Trust in God, trust in ourselves, and also work, isn't it? It's also work. We can't have faith and sit there and say, oh, God's going to help me, and don't do anything. We need to help ourselves as well in trying to achieve something, in trying to do, not only trust that we can do it, but actually acting on what we believe and what we think. So hope and faith, to conclude, I think it comes together. But if you hope, you think, oh, maybe it's, but when you have faith, it is going to happen, And also, even if something doesn't work out the way you want it to, and sometimes we get even disappointed, but when we have faith, we know that thing didn't work, out the way we want to, because at that time wasn't the best thing for us to do. And I think this kind of calm as well, this faith also will help us in this point, because I say, yeah, that I wanted this, but probably wasn't good for me. God helped me to find a different direction. And always, I think 100% of times, when you want something and you tried and you worked hard for it and didn't work, once you look back again, after time, you said, oh God, thank God it didn't work the way I wanted it, because I wouldn't be happy now. And I can, at least twice in my life, I have had this experience that I thought, no, it's going to do it, I'm going to do it, and it's going to happen. And it didn't. It went the other way. But then I was a bit disappointed. But then I thought, looking back, so thank you, God, that didn't work the way I wanted. And I think that that's what faith is. Is certainty, is assurance, is confidence in yourself, but also it's a kind of a humility that there is a power greater than you that is helping you, is guiding you and sustaining you through many times in your life. That so I hope that everyone can have faith in their hearts and the certainty of God's love always. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
Wow,
Yeah,
Silvia gave you a lesson.
exactly. Today I'm speechless here.
Well,
But
Charles mentioned wise words. I wrote there, Charles, your comments are very wise. And Silvia brought something very important, because it's our daily struggles, daily daily thoughts regarding faith. What should I do? What should I comment? What should I go or do this or that? And you pointed very well, Silvia, something very important. My husband was a spiritist. Sorry that I interrupted, Stevan.
no, keep going.
Yeah? My husband was a spiritist, son of a spiritist family. Always with a huge faith. I was a Catholic, a greater and brave Catholic. My faith in my rosary was the most important things in the world for me. He was calmness, always smiling, everything smoothly, decisions, etc. Never, never, never be afraid, because he has a strong faith as well. Different of my faith. My faith was, God is helping me, my guardian angel is with me, and that's it. So I could even go with challenges, because that's not good. It's not like that. You should have faith, but a reasonable faith, as Kardec pointed very well, unshakable faith, né? Reason face to face in all epochs. And with my husband, I learned about the real faith. When he went through a cancer in his brain, or no cure at all, he demonstrates to me his faith in God, in life, in everything, knowing about spirituality and the life goes on and the other side and reincarnation was easy for him. Go through 1.5 years with the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and everything is going wrong, 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 wrong. But he never lose his faith in God and the eternal life. Never blame God because the problem or the things are in his health, not at all. So I learned that, my children learned that, and thanks God, doesn't matter the kind of challenge in our life, we are always confident that in our spiritual agenda or divine agenda of life, our diary of life, is totally correct. Correct what we are undergoing through. We are not forcing problems. We are getting natural things in our life, meditate, prayer, hope, always hope for the future. Today, my incarnation like that, but it's a medicine for my soul. Yeah, or cancer or the problems, the chronic problems, etc. So our faith in God, our hope for better days. Better day doesn't mean tomorrow. It can mean another incarnation. But it's difficult when you don't have faith, don't have hope, and have problems, and everything goes wrong because you are part of the process. Your faith cure you. As Charles pointed out very well, part of the gospel. We know some miracles, inverted commas, in the gospel, but for sure there are many, many more that the evangelists, the disciples, didn't write for us. No, so many things. So now it's okay, Stevan. I stop
Okay,
here.
well, no, I'm saying I'm just listening today, but while Silvia was talking, came up in my mind that story from the centurion, and he has his servant like sick, ill, and he came to Jesus, and Jesus said, "Okay, let's go." He said, "No, I don't need you to go there. So I am a centurion. So I say to a soldier, go from here to there, he goes, and I am nothing. You don't need to go there to cure him."
The said word.
So it's more or less like this, but that this is the unshakable faith. And tell us, guys, what is faith for you? What is hope for you? I'm missing having your comments, having your questions here. But I think this is one of the best stories about faith and doing a kind of synchron. It's the same faith. Like when we sit in a plane, we just put our seat belt.
Or
That's it.
someone,
You're
when
putting
someone,
our
when you have to jump with parachutes. A parachute is the name in English.
Parachute.
parachute.
Yeah, parachute. You have something in your body that another person folded for you,
Yeah.
and you have the parachute here, and you have faith. You are confident that the parachute will work, but someone made this job for you. So you go there, or you went to the lift, 100 levels up, and go down with your face. So the face is something that I think is almost in our inner soul. We have this face, but we disturb it when we focus our mind only material things. I have a quotation here from Emmanuel. I will quickly say the quotation says. Is a book. The book is the book. I forgot the book. But through metaphors, the Spirit Emmanuel tells us that the building of peace and harmony in our lives will only be possible with the solidification of love. Because sometimes you have faith, but oh no, I don't have faith anymore because something will go wrong, etc. So we are like that, scale up and down, up and down. It highlights the noble qualities of charity, forgiveness, faith as bricks indispensable to the process of inner renewal. They are messages of reflection, renewal of faith, and hope. So, love is the main point for everything in the universe. Scientists are talking about love now more than ever, about faith as well in cure and betterment of the illness, etc. And these points, people are looking with other eyes, not only religious eyes, because some people they are not religious, but they have faith in something better. Have faith that the children, their children grow up beautifully, etc. These are faith. You project your faith to the future. But when you have a reasonable faith, you never go back. When you have a faith, doesn't matter what's happening in your life, you go always towards the light. You ask people to make their comments here. I'd like to know as well if they
Yeah,
what
and,
they
and, and you said something very important, Elsa.
okay. Mm.
We are not talking about the religious faith here. And Nancy, she wrote a wonderful thing here. Wonderful. Faith is the sense that everything is in the right place, whatever happens. It's wonderful.
Exactly.
We are not talking about here religious faith. We are talking about here the true faith, the reason of faith, and that's it. Look like a mess, but you have faith. We are in the right place, and everything is gonna be okay.
In the books Leon Denis, Charles, I like very much when Charles make these lessons, 5 or 6 comments about Leon Denis book, about the war, etc. And the faith that everything will improve. The war is there. Everybody is linked to your mind during the day in such a point with the war, blah, blah. But when we pray together, we know the war will finish, although there's a problem, etc. But after the war, the phoenix will reborn again. For everyone is different in the better ways, because now who from the past lives, past times were thinking about the European Union. Né? We talked, I think, yesterday or the day before about that one. And it is now we have a Euro, we have European Union. So countries that fight in many years ago, and now they are together. The things that are happening now will pass, and we have a faith because the planet Earth is a wonderful place to live. Although a lot of things are happening, but our faith is our sun shining all the time towards our mind. Otherwise, without faith, it's impossible to live.
Yeah, I think this is true. You know, we cannot live without faith. Even people who have no religious beliefs or anything, they believe in something. They believe in something. They have to. I think Fernando Pessoa, he has a poem, one of his quotations, that he says, believe in something. Because we without this, we could not survive in this world. We could not live. And I think this story of the gospel that you said about the centurion, you know, is when he said, yeah, you say the word and my servant will be healed. But, you know, it's interesting. I think Elsa mentioned something about this as well. In every single healing that Jesus did, he said, your faith healed you. He never said, I healed you. He always say, your faith has healed you. You know, with that woman, when she talks to him and said, oh, you know, about the dogs and things. And then he said, oh, no, your faith has cured your daughter. And she was faith. So it's interesting that because even in the suppose, you know, in the teachings of Jesus, he never ever said, I healed you. He said, your faith healed you, because you knew you were going to be healed, and that you were healed. And I think that's the faith we need to have in ourselves as well, that we will achieve something, we will do something, and we will do it because we have that strength as well. And
Yeah.
I personally, myself, I do believe in God. I do believe that part of my faith, it's the strength that I have, the belief I have in myself, comes from God's love for me. And it strengthens me in times that I feel too weak to cope by myself. I always know this presence that is there with me. You know, it's not a sort of a religion as such, because, you know, it's a whatever church, but I am certain that in certain times of my life, I think God is carrying me. You know, that's why I love that footsteps on the sand. He said, oh, you know, when
Mhm.
I needed you more, there's just, I said, no, I was carrying you then. And I know that there are many times in my life that I was carried. And I believe that in God's presence in my life and Jesus' presence in my life as well. Personally, I believe that very strongly.
another example of
I don't
faith.
believe it. I don't believe it. I know. I know.
And Silvia, what you said is so important, because we can remember the story of the bleeding woman. She said, I just need to touch. That's it. And when she touched Jesus, the clothes of Jesus, Jesus said, "Hey, stop it! You know, virtues come out of me." So, and she had that faith that I just need to touch. That's it. So, where is it? Where is our faith? Looks like a mess, but it's not.
And
Everything it is where it should be.
a good test is indeed when you go to your doctor and the doctor looks into your eyes and says, "Hey, Mr. Kempf, I have not a good information for you. You have a cancer." Oh, that's a strong one, huh? And then, of course, you again, you are prepared, you know already before you go to the doctor what he will say you. Okay, so you stay smiling and tell to the doctor, "Okay, doctor, what shall we do now?" Huh? Like Paul did, what shall I do? Huh? When he fall from his horse on the way of, there is, okay. And then the doctor said to me, "Oh, Mr. Kempf, you are still very young." Oh, that's a good news. This one I liked a lot, doctor. So we cannot leave it. We have to do something. Okay, let's do alternative A, B, C. I want the B. Full stop and end of story. And here I am, 6, 7, 8 years later, still here, enabled to share these things and to talk with you, and that's it. Because I mean, it can also happen that okay, now as Elsa told, no, there are some cancer you do not cure, but yes, you do not cure physically, but you cure spiritually. And last week we had a conference from a doctor called Dr. Paolo Cesar Fructuoso, and he asked, "Look, I have a child, 6 months only, has a huge tumor and died from the tumor and so on. How can we understand this?" And then the doctor, the spiritual doctor, said to him, "Imagine the tumor like a vacuum cleaner of the soul and of the perispirit, and then you will understand everything." So even in those cases, it's curing, and this is then, as Nancy said, everything is it is right place. Okay, if we need to go back to the spiritual world, let's go. Let's go and let's be freed from our body. We know that in a couple of time we will be capable to come back, reincarnate again with a brand new body, and hopefully without the same diseases as we had due to certain reasons of the past. So this is like, if you ask me, but during centuries the people had the faith that the earth is flat and that
Yeah.
the sky is round above our heads. This was the face of the people during centuries. And then came Giordano Bruno, which has been killed. Then came
Galileo,
Galileo and told,
Copernicus.
"Okay, I deny what I said, but even so, the earth is moving." So this is how you see how this blind faith turns into reasoned faith. And
Yeah.
once you are sure about something, you don't doubt anymore, and it gives you a huge strength, a huge force to cope whatever the situation may be, even if they say you have only 5 or 3 months to live before you go back to the spirituality. Okay, let's do it and take the most of these 3 months. And if it is 30 years, okay, so let's continue working during 30 years, and that's it.
Yeah, but that's a journey that no one can avoid. That's a certain journey that we are all gonna have to take, isn't it? So
Exactly.
if we can, as you say, Charles, if we can see this in a natural way as part of the process, then it's going to be fine. And that's very, very important. I sometimes, when I get a bit tired, say, oh my God, I can't run upstairs as the way I used to. And I say, never mind, I'm going to be a young child again.
Well, and take the opportunity, dear Elsa, when sometimes we create along with our hope expectations, and sometimes we put the bar very high, and like say, oh, I am disappointed, I am this. But I can say the only one who can be disappointed is those who put the bar too high. How not get disappointed with our future? You are mute, my dear.
Yeah. I think more or less we talked before how cannot be disappointed with our future. So all the time I come back to the education for children, little children, treated the way, educated the way that the children can be resilient, can understand that the child they cannot have everything all the time that he wants or she wants, and the father, the mother, they do all the best that they can to give things for the children the time that your children want. The best are two, the better everything, the best one. But if you do everything like that, you don't create a child that you will be with the happiness, hope, love, and especially in faith. Because everything do that and things comes. But the life is not like that. In the future, when adults, you are facing a lot of things. You are under some commandments under your employer, under your family, your husband, or wife. We have to have faith that I am the one that organized my inverted commas, my destiny before incarnation. But am the one that I can educate better my children, better than my education was before. And not say, no, my father educated me like that, so I will continue educating like that. No, nowadays is differently, but not too much, not too less. We have to be in the level of a good sense in order to teach, to organize the lives of our children to grow up with independence and with freedom, but with a good way to think and to equalize the minds, to choose well, or the best way to choose, in order to have continuing have faith in life, have faith in airplanes, in pilots, have faith that everything is under God's law. But if we don't prepare ourselves, not under religion pushing, cabresto, no, but under spirituality since early ages, will be difficult adults later on. This is a process to love, to understand the importance, to be fraternal, to be charitable, in order really to understand that my point stop here when the point of the other start is responsibility, discipline with our lives, the way that we can live a better life every day, not only saying that God is not for me because He not watch over me, my life is a mess, I lost my job, I have this problem, a health problem now, I don't have money to buy medicine. So many things happen. But when you stop, say, I would like to put myself in myself, and start thinking, reasonable thinking, the way that why I'm having this is impossible, that only me, only myself is the one that they are suffering now. No, we have really to understand that everything in the universe is under divine laws. We are in the bottom of the mountain. The benefactors, the God is above us, everyone is above the mountain. They know the better thing for us, but we are the one that have to move ourselves. If I have to cross a river, I have to build a bridge, or I have to have a boat. So where I have to use, I have to have faith in myself, the way that I'm living, educating children, earning my money with the honest way. Yeah, that's it, this kind of things in our life. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. Denise Stewart put to us here. It is easy for an adult who, as a child, was introduced to a religion to have faith. Planting the faith seed is a child in a child is a parent's duty. 100%, my dear. 100%.
Exactly. But
100%.
when you leave it, no, my children, we don't put my children in religion or faith or whatever. They will choose later on. Oh my God, it's a pity. Lost the best time of the child.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I have faith. We'll be here next Wednesday with Rodrigo. You know, Charlie's want to be here with us, but we'll be hearing. You know. Okay, let me put the announcements here. So next week it's counseling messages, and we, as I said, Rodrigo from Spain will be here with us. So 23rd of March, 9 p.m. London time, we'll be here. Okay, sending good vibrations to our friend Charles. And well, the spiritual woman, it was postponed. Soon we will have a date. But every Saturday, everyone is invited to go to the Mediums book course. It's from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. London time. So no background, nothing's required. Just require your open heart and your willing and your will in learning. Okay. The facilitators are Guilherme Dias, Munir Gariba, and Charles. On the 26th of March, we will have a presentation from the European Spiritist Gathering, and the topic is how Spiritism can provide consolation in our days.
Wonderful.
It's a wonderful topic, and the speakers are Karen Dietrich and Ingo Meyer. So, two wonderful spirits talking about how Spiritism can provide consolation in our days. And soon, April, it's there, is near. We will have the first World Spiritist Month. So every single day for a month, we will have Spiritist messages, Spiritist talks from all the countries, not all, but most of them countries about Spiritism. So don't miss it.
36.
36. It's closed now. 36. Okay. 36 countries. Okay. And also on Tuesdays from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. every other week, every other Tuesday, we will have the study of the book Nosso Lar. And we don't have the facilitator here, Rosa. Yeah, okay. So from 8 to 9, every other Tuesday, we have the study of the book Nosso Lar. Also, every other Tuesday, we have at 8:30 p.m. Conversations on Mediumship with Guilherme Dias and Rafael Caldas. And every Wednesday, 4 p.m. is a time for a coffee break. And coffee break with Kardec. It's amazing. Also, led by our friend Munir Gariba. Tomis, we had last Saturday a wonderful seminar with
Lúcia Moisés.
Lucia Moisés, with Lucia, and this is available on Buzz YouTube. So you can go to Buzz YouTube and you can watch
English
it. The subtitles are in
subtitles.
English.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subtitles are in English. Okay, and that's it.
Questionable.
I did my mission today. With hope and faith, I did my mission today.
Let's open charting.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Elsoli. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Herminio. Thank you, Munir. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Nancy Valente. And we more. Erica, Maria Alice. Our dear Vanessa Anceloni, thank you. So, Bruno Hitch. So, thank you guys for the opportunity. Keeping
Roseli Bicker, da Dinamarca. Maria Alice
Rosalie, I
Cornicione.
miss her. Well, I didn't see her. Yeah, Rosalie. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rosalie. I missed you. Maria Alice Cornicione. Thank you, my
Elsa
friends.
Lee. Mhm.
And thank you, my friend Elsa, Charles, and Silvia. Thank you for
Thank you.
teaching me a lot of things today. Thank you.
Merci.
Merci.
Merci. Ça va. Bye bye.
Dankon.
Bye bye bye.
À bientôt.
Bye
À
bye.
bientôt. À bientôt. Oui. Ciao. Bye.
Thank you.
Des desenhos.